Mian Shahbaz Sharif inspired me because he used to do the, old poets. He used to recite them very passionately, and I've seen him on TV. So last night I thought I would do an ode for the Chief Minister. It's in English. Our Chief Minister, Shahbaz Sharif, it seems as though he's the only one that can bring us relief. He has an open and transparent agenda to eradicate against Pakistan's negative propaganda. Plundering, looting and corruption is a disease that spreads pollution. In the Chief Minister's interventions do we see the solution. We welcome the Chief Minister and his delegation, whom we look upon with much admiration. We believe the team to be sincere, and surely we would want to see them persevere. But isn't it a shame? Who is to blame? Our country, Pakistan, seems to be losing the game. But do not despair. We have faith in this delegation to regain and make much repair. The Chief Minister is creating opportunities for inward investment, a clear pathway for Pakistan's betterment. He is right when he says we should stop using the begging bowl, for this will take Pakistan into a deeper red hole. To the rich and feudals, it is time for austerity. This, inshallah, will put Pakistan back on the road to prosperity. The CM's vision for reform and economic sustainability will help us regain our credibility. In God and Mian Shahbaz Sharif we place our trust. Please don't let our economy go bust. Load shedding and inflationary prices takes us further into a crisis. Save us from the poor people's screams. It is the Chief Minister is the one that can realize their dreams. Can you please welcome the Chief Minister of Punjab, Mian Shahbaz Sharif, to the podium.
Baroness Saida Warchi, Minister without portfolio, Chaudhry Mohammad Sarwar, four-time Member of British Parliament, Zubair Gul, President, Pakistan Muslim League N, Great Britain, Barrister Abed, a very fiery State Secretary, Honourable Ministers and members of National Assembly and Provincial Assembly of Punjab, very honourable British Pakistani businessmen, media men, lawyers, great individuals, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It's really a great honor to be here this evening, and I'm deeply humbled by this wonderful poetry recited by Barrister Abed. I cannot say and add anything on top of this except that may Allah Almighty grant all of us strength, vision, guidance and commitment to put every word which is said into action. Because 63 years down the line, we have heard and we have made very passionate, fiery speeches in Pakistan, outside Pakistan, but miserably failed in terms of implementing Quaid-e-Azam's vision and Iqbal's philosophy. I think I want to move away from routine discussion this evening because I am genuinely inspired by a wonderful speech by Baroness Saidawasi, and she has brought up some telling questions which need to be answered by all of us fairly and squarely. Chaudhry Sarwar made us brief but a very important speech. And of course, Barrister Abid, with his outstanding performance, obviously moved all of us. Now let me give you one example, ladies and gentlemen, for your consumption this evening. And that would give you a very clear and a transparent view about what's happening in our motherland. If you go to Karachi, go to Lahore and go to Quetta and go to Peshawar and other places, of course, you will find precious houses built to the tune of billions of rupees. Palatial houses both in the government sector and in the private sector. Colonies for high and mighty, richest of the rich in Lahore, and you can name those colonies and it will not end. And these colonies, they house the best basic amenities and facilities for those paltry few who do not make even 2% or 3% of the total population of Pakistan. And the best of life at the doorstep, best of deliveries at the doorstep. And a very vast majority of Pakistanis, even I speak, go without a shelter worth the name, without basic needs of life. So there is Pakistan for the rich and Pakistan for the poor, and nothing in between. I just want to mention it to you this evening for your consumption, that just 4 months ago, we launched a housing policy scheme in Punjab by the name of Ashiana. 5 schemes are already under implementation in Lahore, Jhelum, Faisalabad, Sahiwal and Sargodha. The one in Lahore is at a very advanced stage. By the end of the month, inshallah, God willing, we will hand over keys to the lucky ones through a very transparent balloting system. On 26th of July, this ceremony hopefully is going to take place. I visit this place almost every once a week to ensure that our party's vision, Mian Shahbaz Sharif's philosophy, is translated in letter and spirit. Now this is what is happening, ladies and gentlemen. Through this balloting, I know for a fact, personally, that a very small shopkeeper is a beneficiary through this transparent policy. A widow, a teacher, a family of a shaheed, a cobbler, an electrician, a laborer. These are the people who are going to occupy houses in this Ashiana. And this Ashiana is going to be with all those basic facilities like sewage system, water supply, electricity, high school for girls, for boys, park, cricket ground, hockey ground, a technical school, and so on and so forth, and beautiful roads. I cannot remember even one scheme of this quality and kind in Pakistan's 63 years of history. For a common man, for a widow, for a double orphan, for a tarkhan, for a cobbler. We have heard schemes for rich people, for politicians, for premiers, for presidents, generals, judges, police officers, trade and commerce people, and beyond that, it is all darkness. And these people constitute 97 or 98% population of Pakistan. And then, when we hear from Baroness Varsi that the Shahbaz Sharif Sahab, second generation of British Pakistani, will have some connectivity with their motherland, with their khalus and khalas and puppis and puppos and their age groups. But what about the next generation? Will they have that kind of connectivity? The answer is, it's all up to us. If we ensure Pakistan as a going country, a country having peace and tranquility, a country with industrial expansion, a country with a lot of job opportunities, a country with terrorism breathing its last, a country where militancy is buried for all times to come, a country where resources are finally distributed with justice and fair play, a country where poverty is eliminated. I guarantee you, Baroness, not third generation, but 20th generation will have very strong connectivity with Pakistan. But if we allow things to slip down the road like this, where corruption is galloping, where we find huge pride in accepting a few crumbs from our so-called friends, and that too soaked in innocent blood of Pakistanis, at huge conditionalities, huge political strings attached, with huge dictations and orders for do more. And yet we take pride out of this and forget that everlasting lesson that no nation or society or an individual can become prosperous if he or she does not learn how to work hard, sacrifice, and through untiring efforts make one's way through. Now here we are, for 63 years, we have been now addicted on these foreign crumbs. I have no problem, and we have no problem with the wonderful cooperation with Great Britain, with the wonderful people in this country who have known that part of the world for centuries, who have, well, as history tells us, ruled that part of the country with sagacity, with knowledge, with prudence, and a sense of history. They understand how to be kind, how to be friendly, and how to be concerned about our concerns. And believe me, I say this with total sincerity at my command, that I find British governments, all governments, and British people, British Pakistanis, very sincere and friendly towards Pakistan. Here is the example that the previous government, Labour government, came out with a wonderful program through DFID to support Pakistan's education program, to support Pakistan's healthcare program, to promote technical skills in Pakistan, and also advise us on various other sectors of society. And I find myself not only extremely obliged, but very comfortable working with our British counterparts. In the last 4 days, thank you very much for organizing this wonderful trip, and without your personal intervention, this couldn't have been a success story. I think the high point of my visit to to this great country, of course, wonderful meetings with Home Secretary, with Andrew Mitchells and other very, very important dignitaries, and that allowed us to have a very frank exchange of views without mincing words. But I cannot resist to tell and share with all of you that my high point was visit to that school, Sally Park Technical School in Birmingham, day before yesterday. And there, I think I enjoyed my 5 hours wonderfully. I found the true nature and spirit of British vibrant society. I found how this society got matured over the span of the last 500 years. How, through a process of filtration, you have come to respect humanity. You have come to this conclusion that without discriminating between Muslims, Christians, Jewish and other believers, you give them equal opportunity to progress in society, to show their wits, to show their brains. I found, we knew, we read, and we also experienced, but that was a personal experience and a wonderful experience, not only my experience, but my team's experience, that 70% of girls wrapped with scarves, coming from Pakistani origin, being imparted highest quality of technical education, free of cost by outstanding British teachers. Can we replicate this in Pakistan? I want to ask Chaudhry Sarwar. Can we replicate this in Pakistan? I want to ask Rana Sanaullah. Can we replicate this in Pakistan? I want to ask Kamran Michael, the first in history's, Pakistan's history's finance minister to have brought up our finance budget. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask all of you who have very, very strong roots in Pakistan, can you manage this in Pakistan? I think it will be very difficult to answer this question fairly and frankly. That in a classroom in Lahore or in Karachi or in Quetta or in Peshawar, 70% Christians, 10% Muslims, and 20% from other nationalities, and great Pakistani teachers teaching them. This is what Islam told us 1400 years ago, that you have to be very respectful to mankind. You have to show benevolence and be very kind to them. Those who are downtrodden, those who have been less blessed and less fortunate, be very kind to them. And do not quarrel. And if you pardon somebody, this is a great quality of your character. This is what Islam has been, in line with other divine religions. But to what extent have we practiced our religion? And this example, glorious example in Birmingham, for all of us was a reminder, stark reminder. And I think, can you believe that our daughters being educated over there with this kind of atmosphere, highest quality of knowledge, technical knowledge free of cost? Can we impart this kind of knowledge to our own daughters in Pakistan? And imagine the kind of resistance which is being given to this kind of free process over there. I think this is a narrative I am carrying back to Pakistan. Thank you, Baroness. Thank you very much, because this visit has been my hallmark to this great country. I am not going to talk about investment in Pakistan. We all know it will inshallah happen one day. But today is a day where you have to struggle against the forces of evil. Those dragons, those forces which are out to destroy Pakistan. And they are within and without. Yesterday I was in the Foreign Office and other places, and I was very honored and privileged to meet great British dignitaries who were very frank in their discussion and showed a lot of commitment to support Pakistan. And I thank them for all what they are doing for Pakistan's well-being. And I said all what I've just said to you. And there was a point of discussion that why Punjab has denied itself from a particular kind of foreign aid. And my answer was that Punjab has nothing against anybody. Not only Punjab, but Pakistan. And we want to be friendly with all the peace-loving countries of the world. And I said this, ladies and gentlemen, I am repeating this in front of you at the cost of repetition. I said, Mr. Minister, beggars can't be choosers. And this is true. We are a poor country. How can we deny our people from something which is going to benefit a child in Rahim Ya Khan, a girl in the valleys of Mehran, and a young boy out there in the snow-covered mountains of KPK and Balochistan? How can we deny a dying girl from medicine? How can we deny a young man without any job in his hands to be busy about, to become productive hand of society through economic activity? How can we deny our millions of children from technical education? Because Pakistan is a country with 60% of its population very youthful. And if we are not able to harness and channelize these energies into productive activities, they will all fall prey in the hands of terrorist groups which are out to destroy Pakistan. But I did say, Baroness, that beggars also have some kind of dignity. And if we are treated not as a human being, but somebody or a state, not as an independent state, where our integrity, our honor, our independence is being compromised day in and day out, then we will certainly deny ourselves from that kind of aid which is contaminated. We will suffer hunger, but we will not eat humble pie. I think Pakistan today is facing the biggest challenge of its history. It's a very hackneyed term. We have heard about it. I mean, over decades, Pakistan is in dire straits. Pakistan is in great difficulty. But believe me, ladies and gentlemen, if ever there was time that this hackneyed term was relevant, it's today. It's today. Corruption is rampant. Terrorism is knocking at our doors, killing innocent people. People by the millions, hapless, teeming millions, don't have basic needs of life. I just 15 minutes ago mentioned to you about those palatial houses occupied by high and mighty in Pakistan, be they landlords or businessmen or whatever, and a huge population going without shelter and medicine and education and justice. How can this society then survive? How can this be possible that on one hand we hold our nuclear armaments and in the other hand we hold a begging bowl? Can they go together for infinite time? It's out of question. Anybody would be out of his mind to even assume for a second that a begging bowl and nuclear assets will go simultaneously together for all time to come. Either we will have to break our begging bowl, or God forbid, our strongest point could be compromised. So the way forward is, and the answer is, that we have to, under all circumstances, in cooperation with global world, in cooperation with our friends abroad and within Pakistan, start learning how to stand on your own feet. Without that, the rest would be history, I'm telling you. But unfortunately, the lesson of the history is that we don't learn our lesson of history. Because 3 years ago, with great hopes and great aspirations and fond desires, we thought, here is the vehicle of democracy, which is going to now be the beacon of light in Pakistan, which is going to kill darkness and spread light all over, which is going to provide empowerment, which is going to provide job opportunities, which is going to provide ample opportunities for education and secure all those exposed segments of society exposed to all kind of illnesses and diseases, which will provide an opportunity for equitable distribution of resources. And 3 years down the line, things are as remote as ever. Things are as bad as ever. Now, who is at fault? The system? Democracy? Well, we only copied British Westminster democracy in Pakistan. And if British Westminster democracy is paying huge dividends, why can't we have those dividends in Pakistan? So I think the answer to this question is that it is not all about systems. Systems with some variance in degree, here and there, they work, they are operational, they are functional. It's all about leadership. If, let's say for example, South Korea 40 years ago, under General Park, had martial law. Now don't misconstrue me, because I know great Democrats are sitting here. I should not be misconstrued at all. I'm just giving you an example to understand this point very closely, from close quarters. That 40 years ago there was a general in South Korea, General Park, who gagged voices, sent to prisons by thousands, and all kind of freedom was absolutely trampled under the feet, and then marched towards economic development. And then the last 20 years, you have seen democracy in South Korea in full swing. And one example is that the son of the sitting president was sent behind the bars a few years ago on charges of corruption, something you could have never imagined in your remotest imagination 30 years ago. Now, if martial law were to be a recipe for these ills, then Pakistan had 4 martial laws. We should have been 4 times more prosperous than South Korea, What happened? South Korea touched the apex of glory and Pakistan was halved in 1971. Dismembered. Look at China, look at Russia. Both had communist regimented regimes. Russia fell under its own heavy weight and China is a rising star. Both had the same system. If it was all system-based recovery, success or failure, both should have gone down or both should have gone up. The answer is, ladies and gentlemen, its system of course are very important, but it's all about operators, all about drivers, all about leaders, qualitative leadership which make or break and not the systems. That's my belief, and I believe in Pakistan, if we have to move forward and come out of this quagmire, come out of this very, very dangerous situation, we will have to change that corrupt leadership in Pakistan under all circumstances. I'm not going to, by saying this, I've just summed up our motherland's present precarious situation, but certainly not, I'm not going to wash dirty linen in front of you. When I go back tomorrow, we'll go back tomorrow, then inshallah we'll take up things where we left a week ago. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, let me say and share this with you with total conviction at my command. Things are bad, no doubt. Things are very serious, no doubt. Challenges are among us, no doubt. But by God, Pakistan nation has this capacity, has this tenacity, has this buoyancy that inshallah, with the unity of thought and action, with hard efforts and sacrifice, we will not only meet this challenge, we will inshallah, through untiring efforts, we will, by bringing in reforms, by changing this corrupt system, we will inshallah one day soon find our lost place in the community of nations. Barons, thank you very much once again for your wonderful hospitality. Zubair Gul's, this platform is a wonderful platform, and we are providing full support to this platform, which means nothing except providing help to Pakistanis overseas, getting those illegal occupations of land and property from illegal occupants, quickly and speedily. This had become a norm in the previous government under General Musharraf's watch, who was champion of Pakistan first. Look at him. Who is saying what? I think I don't need to discuss that character. It's part of history now. And today, we have to deal with today and deal with tomorrow and day after. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very grateful to you for showing patience, for my sermon. It's not a sermon, for my humble submissions. And before I leave permission, I would like to recite Iqbal's. What a wonderful teacher he was. है सदाकत के लिए जिस दिल में मरने की तड़प, है सदाकत के लिए जिस दिल में मरने की तड़प, पहले अपने पैकरे खाकी में जान पैदा करे। है सदाकत के लिए जिस दिल में मरने की तड़प, पहले अपने पैकरे खाकी में जान पैदा करे और फूक डाले ये ज़मीनो आसमाने मुस्तार और खाकिस्तर से आप अपना जहां पैदा करें।
Thank you very much, Chief Minister. I know he's very busy in his current role, but if he ever retires, I want to take him up as a teacher to learn me this poetry that he's just recited. Thank you. I want to introduce next the young lady, I would say, that you saw on the video, someone who's extremely keen at pushing the boat out for her community and sometimes puts her own neck on the line. And I have to say that we need to be more resolved in helping support our ministers here or parliamentarians. I'm not bothered which party they come from, as long as they're here to support the good causes and show us in a good light and establish a good name for the Pakistani community living here in Britain. Can I please welcome the Right Honourable Baroness Saida Varsi to come to the stage to honour our guest, the Chief Minister of Punjab.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Abid Bhai, thank you very much for that very kind introduction. शायद यहाँ पे जो सब मुअज़्ज़ज़ मेहमान बैठे हुए हैं, शायद वो ये नहीं जानते कि आबिद भाई जो हैं वो मेरे ससुरालियों में से हैं. So जब मेरी तारीफ करते हैं यहाँ पे स्टेज पे मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगता है. So thank you very much, Abid Bhai, for those very kind introductions. Chief Minister, Uncle Sarwar, parliamentarians, it is a great pleasure to say Assalamu alaikum to you and welcome you, especially those that have come from Pakistan to London. The business community, the leaders, the community activists, the ordinary British nationals here today are proud to call themselves British Pakistanis. We are proud of the ties that bind our two nations together, our history, our culture, our language, and of course, our families. Britain and Pakistan have long been friends. We have stood alongside each other for over 60 years. Today, we stand together on our shared challenges, whether that's economic uncertainty, global terrorism, and our desire to support the most needy in the world. The relationship between our two countries, I believe, is indeed special, and it will remain special for any British government that I am proudly a member of. It is grounded in the long history that we share together and the ability to talk to each other freely as old friends can. My view is very clear, that the cause of peace and progress is best served when we work together. And the values that we hold dear are best defended when Britain and Pakistan are united. Today you will be relieved to hear that I'm not going to make a grand overview speech on the relationship between Pakistan and Britain, but I intend to focus on a very specific issue, an issue of considerable importance, and that is the British Pakistani community. Chief Minister, my argument today is very straightforward. The British Pakistani community are Pakistan's strongest advocates. They are Pakistan's strongest supporters. They are Pakistan's strongest allies. This relationship has been hugely beneficial for Pakistan, but this relationship is now at a crossroads. Pakistan and UK share strong links. Of course, we have bilateral trade, which is worth $1 billion, and the UK government have pledged to grow that to $2.5 billion by 2015. Pakistan benefits from the UK's largest overseas aid programme. We have given a commitment, amongst other things, to make sure that 4 million Pakistani children receive an education. And commercially, the UK is Pakistan's second largest overseas investor. However, with a diaspora community of over 1 million, Pakistan benefits from a deeper relationship with Britain. And despite the challenges that there are today, there are still 1.4 million journeys between Pakistan and the UK every year. The British Pakistani community send more than £200 million a year in remittances, and they support charities throughout Pakistan supporting education, healthcare and primary education. Chief Minister, your visit this week shows further my government's commitment. I know that your programme was packed, I know that your team worked hard, but we are committed to bringing change to the Punjab. You have expressed a desire to share experience and learn lessons from around the world. And this week, I was delighted to make sure that you met the Minister for the Cabinet Office, where you and your team discussed transparency and accountability, the Home Secretary, where you discussed law enforcement, the Justice Secretary, where you discussed prison management, the Trade Minister, where you met with the Trade Minister and businesses who are wishing to invest in Pakistan, and the Development Secretary to discuss UK's aid programme. But I return back to the point that I made. The first generation of British Pakistanis have a natural affinity with Pakistan. The second generation still have a strong affinity with Pakistan. But as the American experience shows, those links become increasingly weaker the further the generations are from the first. And let me pose the question in a slightly different way. Let us all here ask ourselves, will our children's children visit Pakistan? Will our children's children speak that language? Will our children's children care about their Pakistani identity? And that is why I say that our relationship is at a crossroads. And today I need to send a very clear message that that relationship will be cemented with Pakistan, providing it has some very basic securities. Economic security, so that when they invest in Pakistan, there is the application of the rule of law, and that taxation and employment laws are applied appropriately. Physical security, so that when they go there to form relationships and when they go there to spend some time, they know that they are safe. And economic security in the form of development and social development in Pakistan. The Office for Overseas Pakistanis is a key part of that. And Chief Minister, you will recall that when I visited Pakistan along with William Hague and David Cameron in opposition, it is something that we lobbied for. And I am grateful that in government it is something that you have acceded to. I am grateful for the work that Zubair Gul and the Office for Overseas Citizens and British Citizens and Overseas Pakistanis is doing. But it must go beyond that. And अगर मैं कुछ अल्फाज उर्दू में कहूँ, वो सिंपली ये हैं कि जब हमारे वालिदैन पाकिस्तान से आए थे, उनका एक बहुत ज़्यादा गहरा रिश्ता था पाकिस्तान के साथ, और यहाँ तक कि जब पाकिस्तान पे मुश्किलात होते थे तो उन्होंने, यहाँ पे बहुत से लोग हैं जिनके वालिदैन उन्हें अपनी वेज पैकेट्स बंद ही जाके ब्रिटिश पाकिस्तानी एम्बेसी में जमा करवा दी थी पाकिस्तान के लिए और उसके फ्यूचर के लिए। मैं यहाँ पे पैदा हुई थी, यहाँ पे बहुत से लोग हैं जो यहाँ पे पैदा हुए थे, यहीं पे पले बड़े हैं, उनका भी रिश्ता पाकिस्तान के साथ है। और उस रिश्ते की वजह से आजकल जो आज हम ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट में जो मैं कर रही हूँ, मेरी गवर्नमेंट कर रही है, उस रिश्ते की वजह से हमें अभी भी वो महसूस होता है कि अगर एक पीसफुल, प्रॉस्परस और स्टेबल पाकिस्तान होगा, उसमें हमारी भी बेहतरी है। लेकिन जो सवाल मैंने अभी पूछा है वो ये है कि क्या मेरे बच्चे या मेरे बच्चों के बच्चे, क्या उनके भी दिल इसी तरह धड़केगा, क्या वो भी पाकिस्तान के लिए इसी तरह सोचेंगे? वो तब ही सोचेंगे जब उनको ये महसूस होगा कि पाकिस्तान भी उनके लिए इतना ही सोचता है जितना वो पाकिस्तान के लिए सोचते हैं। Thank you very much.
Thank you, Baroness Varsi, and I hope you continue to support Pakistan, the Chief Minister, to help bring about more prosperity and, of course, bilateral trade and other issues.